Hello, welcome to Table Talk at Jubilee. Yes, we are here at Jubilee Evangelical Church. And here at Table Talk, we talk about different issues, Bible topics, theology topics, Christian life issues, and general issues that we face in our daily lives. Welcome and have a great time. I'm here with them and Justin and Wilford. It will be a free-flowing conversation among us, and you're most welcome to join in.
In relation to that, I wanted to ask, what are your views, for example, on how we use digital media for church-related matters or evangelism? You know, very relevant because we're having a podcast right now. Because there are communities, I think, where they tend to steer clear of that, where they try to use more traditional methods for church practices. I can't name any that come to mind right now, but I think we know naman that they exist, that they're out there. So what are your views on this method of evangelism, on how it's evolving with the advent of digital technology?
Yeah. I think a big jump in consumption was the pandemic. Because we were all locked in. So the only link to the outside world are digital and electronic. So there was a big jump in consumption. Doesn't mean there's none before. But there are some people who never used those things. And then the pandemic came and they suddenly started using it. And then they got hooked. So tuloy-tuloy. There are some people who ask me that, the pandemic, why do we worship online? The pastor is in the chapel on a Sunday morning in image. He was there actually Thursday night taping it. So he's not even in the chapel. And then I'm here at home listening to this image who looks like my pastor. So we should be going to the church building and worship there. So that kind of question go on. So my response to them is, you have two choices. Number one is to say, there's no pastor at the church building and there's nobody to open the church building anyway. So I'll not worship. Kasi wala eh. The other is to say, but there's an online. So I'll worship. So you pick one. None or digital.
Shortcut is better than
But
none.
those are not our first choices. That's because the whole place is locked down. Our first choice is to go to the house of God. Okay, settled. For you, for me, it's the same. Second choice, no worship or worship online. So you just pick one.
Right, it sounds like we circled back to the fast food.
Yeah. So para sa akin, just me I'll pick the online na because I still want to worship. Ganun na lang. But if you say, I don't want, so what do you do? Wala. No, I'll just watch a service in America. It's the same. Image din yun. Ibang muka lang. Di ba? So, this is not our first choice. We are forced into either something or nothing. And the something is digital. So for me, I would go to the digital choice rather than to no worship. But I know some people finds it hard to do that it's not personal. Yeah, recently I was just having dinner with a Bible teacher. So he says he doesn't like the online service and he doesn't like to preach online because he's a lay preacher. Doesn't like to preach to a camera because there's nobody there, and they're all somewhere at home on their Zoom, in the Zoom room, spread out. He doesn't want to do that. And he said, I don't like to pray with people over the telephone because prayer dapat, that type. So some people really have a difficulty with that kind of non-personal, because we call it either high-tech or high-touch. High-touch means we're all here. No? So it's an old expression, but it's used out there. So I told him that let's suppose your friend went to Japan and met a difficult situation and called you out on the phone and says, "Can we pray together?" So what will you do? Fly to Japan? Or you say, "Oh, I'll pray for you when you come back to the Philippines." In trouble na nga siya. So he kind of became a bit reflective. No? Sometimes it happens. So the technology is there. So either we use it for the Lord or the enemies of the Lord use it for themselves. So I think there's a place for its use. We just don't want to make people feel that this is the first choice. No? If you can go to the house of the Lord, please do. It's different when you sing in the house of the Lord. You hear the people beside you singing and you're inspired. At home, you watch people singing, and if you're sleepy, beside you is the wonderful pillow. But at church, they're all singing. So we kind of inspire each other to worship, and when they sing loud, you tend to sing a bit louder, right? So I think it's good to worship together as God's people in one room, one big room. But where it's not possible, for me, okay lang yung online rather than nothing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree that I actually am a recipient of series of very interesting podcasts and preachings post-mortem. So as we know, Tim Keller passed away, but his recordings date way back until 1990s.
Wow.
And so I enjoy you can enjoy all of you can listen to all of his sermons. So I think it's great that we have recordings of them, and anytime you want to listen to them, you can just download them. And of course, you're right to say that I really much prefer coming to church, seeing everyone, singing with everyone, and touching everyone, well, on the shoulder lang. But also saying hi, and the community is really very important and powerful. But I also understand that most seniors find it hard to attend and go to Sunday worship, including my mom. So there are cases really that online is better than none argument. So I agree with that also.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. So like say when, there's, Repertory Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to watch some of their shows. So you go in and then the curtain opens and then the stage is, it's a living room or it's a barn or whatever. He has said, wow, so nice. And then the actors and actresses, and then they kind of do the live drama there. So you actually see the person, you hear the person, and probably after the show, if you meet them outside, you can recognize them because you've been looking at them for, let's say, 60 minutes or 120 minutes. Anyway, now when I go to the cinema, I don't say, I don't like this. That's not really Robert Downey Jr. That's just his image. I don't say that, right? Nobody says that going to the movie. Even the seniors. You don't say, hindi naman si Bruce Lee yan eh. Image lang yan. You say, ang galing ni Bruce Lee. Di ba? Ang galing ni Thor, So we can adapt. No? But when it's worship service, we find it a bit difficult to adapt. Because for us, worship is a real thing. Entertainment, it's all pretend. He's not really Iron Man. He cannot fly. He doesn't have this big building with this sophisticated machineries. It's all pretend. No? But when it's worship, it's the real thing. So normally we have a higher standard because it's the real thing. Diba? So we can understand why some people find it difficult. But the breakthrough, I think, has to be the choices. Do you want worship online or no worship at all. Yun lang. That's all. I think most people, if they are confronted with that, they will probably pick the worship online. But it was not presented to them that way. Presented to them is either worship at church or worship online. But it close na nga yun eh. So when do you pick that? Of course, you pick the other one. But the reality is, wala na yun,
It's not
sarado.
available.
Oo. So I think we just have to present them with the really available choices and say, so which one? So I think majority will probably say, oh sige, online na lang. Because I want to worship the Lord. It's the Lord's day. Yan ang hula ko. Majority will go that. A few perhaps talagang mahirap. They cannot psychologically barricaded ko. Boy, breakthrough. A few perhaps. Pero majority, I think, if they kind of see the choices, probably pick that.
So did that satisfy you, Wilford? Your question?
Yeah.
Because
I think it
your
was,
question was more of sharing of the gospel, promotion, and
I think naman with regards to the debate between online services and real life services, since we're mostly back to normal na right now, I think that was the most relevant answer. Since with regards to digital media and how we use it currently to reach more people, I think it's safe to say naman it's mostly a net positive. Again, we're in a podcast right now.
Yeah.
So
You know what happened in Israel? Because in Israel, it's of course dominated by Jews, right? Which means when you're Jews, you're not supposed to be a Christian, okay? But there are some Jews who became Christians, okay? So during the pandemic, they were all locked down. So they find it difficult to meet people on the street or distribute literature. So they just intensified their yung electronic communication, which means videos. And many people came to the Lord because of that. Because you don't have to walk into a Christian chapel to hear the gospel. It's now in your bedroom. And so it eventually alarmed the conservatives. So they wanted to pass a law in the Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament, to prohibit that. They didn't name the Christians, but the target is obviously the Christians. So make it illegal to do that. So that's how effective it is. And of course, also in the Arab countries, they cannot go to a Christian chapel because all your family will persecute you, right? But during the pandemic, everyone is on their own gadget, privacy. You're not going to a public place. That's not privacy. But now you're at home, maybe in the bedroom or you're at the coffee shop. And they were secretly, so to speak, listening to Christian broadcasts. And some became believers. So you're right. It's so powerful. It's just there. And if you don't like to come to a church building, it's okay. The gospel you can hear at home. Ang galing.